Hello, Loki lovers. We're going to discuss Loki because that's what this series is about. Do you like? This was my Halloween costume in like 2013 or something. Only I didn't have cat's ears. I had like yellow horns on a headband and they were so cute and I don't know what happened to them. But anyway, right, so this episode 5, Journey into Mystery. Now, for those of you not into the comics, Journey into Mystery was the original comic that Thor appeared in. It's actually available for free on Comixology. There's a lot of free comics on Comixology, and if you want to get into comics, that's a really good way of doing it. Not only does it not take up a lot of room like a real comic book collection does, you can read them on your smart device, which I just went to get out of my pocket, and then I realised I was filming on it. Okay. Oh boy, I've had a lot of sugar tonight. So, Journey into Mystery. I've got some thoughts. Now, Richard E. Grant having the time of his life playing classic Loki. The President Loki that appeared, that was from the trailer, sneaky mother, sneaky. That was just a wonderful bit, like having alligator Loki like bite off his hand and him like doing the high-pitched scream, which I cannot do. My voice does not go as high as Loki's went in that little moment. No, couldn't do it. Like, it was a like very highly entertaining part of the episode. What my main thing of this episode was that classic Loki, Richard E. Grant Loki, was demoing like all of Loki's powers that he should have had from the start. Like, no, you're not going on there. No. Like, in the comics, Loki's ridiculously powerful, as I've been saying. And the classic Loki had these powers that Loki has. Like, creating portals, teleporting, creating grand illusions. Like, this is all stuff that is, like, pretty standard Loki stuff. So, like, I've been really annoyed that our Loki, Prime Loki, has sort of been, like, nerfed power-wise. You're not going on there. You're knocking the camera. No. No. So it was really fun to sort of see a Loki let loose with the actual power of a Loki that a Loki is supposed to have. That was marvellous. Like, overall, it was more of a character episode than a plot episode because we didn't go very far in the plot and we just established character, but this was 10 times better than the previous character episode. Just it was it Nexus event? It was so much better. It was so interesting. It actually like developed things for the character. Our Loki grew. He grew as a person. He was able to make a friend, which he, very rarely been able to do thus far in the MCU. Like, Sylvie, sort of finally became, for me, a likeable character in this one. Like, previously, I hadn't really connected to her, but in this episode, I sort of did think so. Now, I did postulate previously that, like, Ravonna didn't know what was going on with the Time Lords, because she certainly looked surprised. The Time Wizards, the Timekeepers, whatever you want to call them. Because she looked like quite surprised, but she used, the man behind the curtain, going into that Wizard of Oz theme, and she's kept, like, B-15 alive for reasons we don't know, but, like, I mean, maybe she knows that if she gets pruned, she'll just find, like, the Loki that was pruned, and, like, he might help her, I suppose, rather than her getting destroyed by the pasta aioli monster. Who knows? Who knows? So, classic Loki builds a fake Asgard, and dies, leaving behind his helmet. But did he though? Because the thing is, you can't trust Loki. You can trust Loki to do Loki things, but you can't trust a Loki to be entirely honest. So my current working theory is they've gone through this portal thing to Castle Grayskull. No, you're going to knock the camera. No, you're a bad girl. I love you though. Go on, go away. I think England just scored. So you can't trust a Loki, but you can trust a Loki to do Loki things. And Castle Grayskull, I've said it before, I'm saying it again, it's going to be a King Loki behind the TVA. It's not going to be Kang the Conqueror. It's going to be a King Loki, and that Loki is either going to turn out to be another Tom Hiddleston Loki, or it's going to turn out to be classic Loki, aka Richard E. Grant. I'm saying it now. I'm putting me flag in the ground. This is going to be the hill I'm going to die on. It's not going to be Kang the Conqueror. It's going to be Loki, and it's either going to be Tom Hiddleston Loki or Richard E. Grant Loki. It makes sense. No, well, it could be another Loki, but I'm telling you, it's going to be one of those two. And I'm leaning towards Richard E. Grant because he died. But you know, like I'm not putting a firm stake in that one. It's gonna be a toss up between the two, and I'm going to tell you why it's not going to be Kang the Conqueror. We are going on, we've just finished episode 5 of a 6-episode limited series. If it was going to be Kang the Conqueror, who is a major comic book villain, they would not be introducing him in episode 6 of a limited series. Like, they'd be introducing him in a Phase 4 movie, like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, for example. They would be maybe introducing him in that. They certainly are not going to be introducing him in a show. Like, we were all waiting for Mephisto to come in WandaVision, and it didn't happen. And I'm telling you, it's not going to be Kang the Conqueror. You mark my words, it's going to be a Loki. It's got to be a Loki at this point. Who else could it possibly be apart from, well, I suppose it could be another Morbius because of the whole, like, because that's not been explained, it's only been touched upon, that there could be, like, multiple Morbiuses. It was hinted on in the first episode with the whole, like, oh, I didn't bring you that Franklin D. Roosevelt high school pen. Where'd you get that from? Other analysts bringing you things, and I was like, yeah, other analysts that are you. Because in the comics, Mr. Morbius, there's many versions of him. So it could very well be another Morbius, but I don't think it is. I'm just putting it out there. I don't think it is, but it's more likely than Kang the Conqueror, let me tell you that. Where this is going, I couldn't tell you. What it's setting up, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to set up the idea of, like, Loki and Sylvie going off on some adventures, or Loki dying at the end and helping other Lokis get back to their own timelines, because I'm still, like, the multiverses, they're not timelines. If it was a timeline, he wouldn't be an alligator. That's just not how it works. So we're just going to have to wait and see. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens, I'm afraid. But that's where I am with the show. I am firmly with the belief that Loki's behind it all, a different Loki. And we'll see which Loki it is in the next episode. But I do think that they have a lot to tie up. They've got to explain the Morbius thing. They've got to, like, deal with Ravana's storyline, at least, like wrapping her up in some way, whether she goes forward into another project or what, I don't know, but she has some sort of conclusion that she needs to draw. Same with, like, B-15. And we still haven't established, like, did they prune C5, or did they do something else nefarious Or did they just outright kill her, not prune her? We don't know. So we've just got one more episode to find this out. I wasn't entirely sure, and I haven't looked it up, but I'm pretty sure that one of the guys with President Loki was the guy who got pruned in the first episode. I could be totally wrong on that, but I thought he looked familiar in there. But I did like the whole President Loki look. I loved the uniform. I loved the coronet thing. That's straight out of Agent of Asgard, which I've mentioned before, but you can get it on Comixology. It's very, very much worth a read, particularly if you like Loki. It's very, very much worth a read. And they've borrowed heavily from it for this one. Also, Thor and Loki, the 10th Realm, which I'd totally forgotten about, which is an original Sin tie-in comic. Although the art in that is horrible and I hate it. Like, the Agent of Asgard Loki art is absolutely fantastic. And compare it to the 10th Realm and it's just not very good at all. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. I'm talking about comic stuff. So, what are my predictions for the final episode? Don't know what's going to happen. Really don't know. Don't know what the game plan is. I don't know what their plans for Loki are. Because this could be the end of Loki and this could be how they are, like, properly killing him off. But the thing is, Loki's died in literally everything. He died in the first Thor movie. He died in the second Thor movie. He died in, like, the Endgame. And Loki just keeps coming back, and that's like I've mentioned it. This is a running joke in the comments that Loki keeps getting killed over and over and over and over. So, except in Loki's case, it's usually within continuity rather than other superheroes who get killed and then they're alive again the next week. They're not dead, they're currently dead. So, we don't know. Just don't know. And I don't want to predict, because like it could be anything. It could be absolutely anything. It could be Loki got bored and wanted to create an army of himself just to play with. Like, before I was very firm on the idea of it being Tom Hiddleston Loki, or a Tom Hiddleston Loki, but I'm sort of leaning towards more Richard E. Grant classic Loki now, since he's been killed, and that's a very Loki move. And I know the whole, like, he's going to go out in a blaze of glorious purpose. But did he, though? Did he, though?